Get away from me! Oh my god!
Nemesis in the original RE3 has this looming element over the entire game.
Being pursued by Nemesis is terrifying, even when compared to the many monsters we now have that function similarly to him. When I tried fighting Nemesis on hard mode for the first time, it took me over 2 hours to kill him even once in the RPD.
Nemesis is a great monster and improved upon Mr. X from the original Resident Evil 2.
I was skeptical of the Resident Evil 2 remake before it came out, but I ended up liking it a lot. In my mind, if you wanted to take the concept of Resident Evil 3 and use modern technology to maximize its potential, you'd make some ultimate exploratory horror game where you're exploring some giant city with plenty of objectives and secrets to find in any order of your choosing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Resident Evil 3 Remake is not good.
I'm really let down by the implementation of Nemesis here.
This is not Nemesis.
So we've called Nemesis bitch and fuckface in the first 20 minutes of the game before we've even started playing.
And really intense chase over here, guys. I'm really scared. Every time he can kill Jill, he just chooses not to.
But she's generally boring and unsympathetic. He does not break her neck.
It is a terrible design for Nemesis.
Even the live-action Resident Evil movies managed to establish Nemesis as a real threat by killing a lot of STARS members and tanking a ton of bullets.
You can't actually go there, but remember it? Aren't you happy that we referenced it?
He's straight up removed from the game and replaced with a brand new, inferior monster.
The perception of this game's value, I think, is definitely going to be seen as lesser compared to Remake 2.
Welcome to my podcast. Today, I'm going to complain about a game that totally hasn't been complained about before. Nah, but for real, I'm going to talk about Resident Evil 3. Let me paint you a picture. You graduate from high school, and you get bored, so you boot up a nice, spooky horror game for the summer. That game being Resident Evil 7, the reboot one. To say this is my favorite Resident Evil is, it's an understatement. This rivals Alien Isolation for my favorite horror game in general, point blank, period. And because of that, I played the other games, including 6 and 0. So in honor of the recent news that both 0 and Code Veronica are getting remakes, I'm going to compare both Resident Evil 3s to see which was translated well and what didn't work as well. When going over these things, keep in mind that the remake was my first impression of what a Nemesis is and what a Resident Evil 3 was. So to those hardcore fans that played the original first, I can hear your keyboard clacking. I understand your frustration, but cut me some slack when I say something you don't agree with. I also have played the original, and I will say, both are fun. But will fun cut it when it comes to, which is more worth your time? I guess that's what we'll find out in this video, however long it may take. Also, spoilers. With that out of the way, I think it's time we start with characters. I think it's best to start with Jill, because, well, it's Jill. You gotta start with Jill. In the original, in the story, Jill worked the Raccoon City Police in the STAS department until sometime after the mansion incident, aka the first game. In the back of the original casing, it says that she resigned from STARS. I don't know why, but likely because Chief Irons was in cahoots with Umbrella. In the remake, Irons fires her. Of course, after that, she's hunted down by the Nemesis throughout the game. In the original, she cares about others and is willing to help those in need during the outbreak, even if they don't care for her.
I told you! I'm not leaving! Never! Just get away from me.
When she meets up with Carlos from the UBCS, she goes out of her way to help them, even if she is understandably insistent.
Did you just say you belong to Umbrella's army?
She isn't thrown around constantly, but, is in enough danger throughout the game. Also, she's scared shitless of Nemesis. The wiki says she's been in the army defusing bombs and shit, but this thing still manages to throw her emotions off balance. I'm no sensitive type, but if I saw this, I'd be scared shitless too. Probably even be more scared than how she is. She is able to get through the pursuer after, a game's length of time, and is able to put the monster down for good, depending on your choices, because this is a choice-based game.
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
In the remake, I don't know how to put this lightly, but she has this attitude that is shown throughout the game. Throwing her apologies to corpses won't change that fact. She's pretty much a hard-ass archetype. I wouldn't go as far as to say she's an asshole since she's shown to care for others, but she's pretty rude. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I went through the same thing, the same traumatic experience as the Spencer Mansion incident, I'd also be a wee bit bitter. But I wouldn't be an insufferable dickhead. She may get along with Carlos, mortem later, as the game goes on, but still. Also, she's more of a Mary Sue in this than the original. She's thrown around constantly, put into situations that would kill you if you were in them, army or not. Like, look at this. I wouldn't live through that. Also, she treats Nemesis as if it were another zombie. Same thing with everyone else, especially Brad, with him saying,
Right now it's got a hard-on for the only 2 stars left in town. You and me.
What?
The writers felt the need to make every character swear every 3 sentences. Now, I don't hate swearing, but almost everyone in this game sounds like Deborah Morgan from Dexter. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then a character from this, I don't know. Or your average Seth Rogen character, if you don't know what that is. Like I said in this video I regret making, swears are sentence enhancers. Anyways, moving on. Remake Jill has a couple nightmare sequences that involve her or someone else turning into a zombie. In the beginning, she has a nightmare about her slowly decomposing, turning into an undead. She shoots herself with the screen going black before the gun fires, and wakes up. Personally, I think it'd be better if the sound of the gun firing didn't play when the screen went black, but hey, what do I know? I like this idea and concept. The experience, you know, of the Spencer mansion and all that traumatizing her so bad that these nightmares occur. Kind of falls flat with the second one happens though. Jill wakes up in the hospital and Carlos comes in to tell her that Nemesis gave her HIV, Nemesis AIDS, but he was able to treat her. Then he starts to vomit and becomes an undead. She wakes up from the nightmare and...
Where am I? What's going on?
This would have worked better if the nightmare took place at the plaza where she got infected, but whatever. I'm gonna skip to the end of it and talk about how Jill was able to pick up the huge fucking gun! Hell, even Chris on steroids struggled with a boulder. You're telling me that she can carry this? When she defeats Nemesis, she doesn't say her stars line because they had to use that as a throwaway line for when it was chasing her, even though she hasn't gotten the upper hand yet.
Come on, you creepy-ass stalker! You want...
Instead, she says something only a genius could have come up with.
Next time, take the fucking hit!
Good riddance.
I don't give a shit what clothes she's wearing. Hell, you can put her in like an Ada Wong dress and she'd still like live. I heard someone say that they are separate characters based on like, you know, how they act and their outfits and stuff, which kind of makes sense. The original is Jill. I'm gonna say that now. And the remake, I'm just gonna call Jane. So Jill is original, Jane is remake. The next guy, character, person that I want to talk about is the game's villain, Nikolai. About the Nemesis! He's an antagonist. He's not the villain. In the original, take a shot every time I say that or remake. You'll be dead by the end of the video. We don't meet him until we get to the tram. Well, sure, you can say he doesn't trust Jill immediately, but he doesn't immediately resent her. When we meet up with him again in the pharmacy, it is shown that he works differently from the other 2 mercenaries, as he kills a guy who we could assume was infected with the zombie virus.
He was as good as dead. And it took fewer bullets to kill him now than it would have if he had transformed.
We then find out later that he isn't just a mercenary from Umbrella. He was a supervisor, sent into Raccoon City to see how durable the bioweapons are.
I'm one of the supervisors. That's all you need to know.
His motivations are just, you know, money. Nothing special about it if you just think. Then again, since when have Resident Evil villains been, you know, peak?
Complete global saturation.
Since the original has Telltale-like choice-making, his fate is either A, dying to Nemesis, B, escaping on a chopper, or C, he crashes the chopper and dies after Jill shoots at it. In the remake, right off the bat, Nikolai is presented as more of a shady character. His first bit of screen time is shooting someone who was infected. He did do that in the original, yeah, but he wasn't as big a dick as described here in this guy's journal. Instead of being rational, he berates Jane.
Go back to the subway station. We don't need a bleeding heart like you getting in the way.
As the game progresses, Nikolai acts more like a mustache-twirling Saturday morning villain. It wasn't anything special before, but like, he wasn't so cartoony all the time. I'm pretty sure this guy says, well, well, well at one point.
Oh, what do we have?
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
What if you were just walking down the street, right? And this guy, and then some guy walks up to you and goes, well, well, well. Are you gonna take that shit seriously? Like, no. As you might have guessed, it doesn't take long for the other characters to guess that the shady character that does shady things is evil. No way. When Nemesis finds his way into the subway, Nikolai locks the door to the other car behind him, leaving them to die.
It's not after you.
It's not after Mikhail either, but it murks him before it blows up. During the third act, he digs the mustache-twirly hole, you know, deeper, emphasizing how he's doing what he does to get paid.
Now I know you can't put a price on life. but I'm in this business to get paid. So let's make a deal.
It's done. Give me the vaccine, you greedy son of a bitch.
No. You bring the money. I like them. That on this would be worth millions. But, you know how it is. City's about to explode, and you can't put a price on life.
But at the end of the game, Jill asks this.
Why'd you do it?
Because money, you idiot!
He also shouts something about finding out the truth. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're able to figure that out. I'm gonna clump two characters together here since they both have small roles in both games. Both Brad and Mikhail. Brad in the original is shown to be terrified, warning Jill about something, or someone, hunting STARS members.
He's after STARS members. There's no escape.
When they meet up in front of the police station, Nemesis drops from fuck knows where and kills him, with his attention now on Jill. AKA you! Mikhail doesn't have much going on either, as he's just injured on the tram most of the time. He tries to kill a bunch of zombies, like he's got some kind of death wish, and after the tram car moves, he does some hard damage to Nemesis. Other than that, he's just there. In the remake, Mikhail's pretty much the same. He's injured on the subway car for the majority of the time he has, and Nemesis takes a lot of damage from him. Brad, on the other hand, is a bastardized virgin. Virgin? What the fuck? I'm not saying virgin! Shut up! Version of what he was in the original. It was implied that he was being hunted by Nemesis before it went after Jane, but based on the trash bag on its head, I didn't do shit. Like I said before, Brad doesn't have the same fear as he did before. Treating the outbreak and Nemesis like he's stuck in traffic. Not to mention the hard-on line that he says to Jane. After that, they run into a diner and Brad dies to zombies and not to Nemesis. The moment when he's a zombie is alright, I guess. But yeah, he got butchered. Last guy I want to talk about right now is,
Carlos.
He's probably the best character in the remake as far as comparisons go. In the original, he's just a mercenary with a weird accent.
Calm down, lady. I'm no zombie.
He convinces Jill to help them, even though they're Umbrella, and helps Jill when she's infected with Nemesis AIDS. He's also able to send out an SOS, depending on what you choose. In the remake, he comes in super early into the game, drops Nemesis to its knees, and brings her to safety. He goes to the RPD, even though Jill should have gone there like in the OG, but whatever. And also, he kills Zombie Brad. The remake fleshes him out more, giving him a dude bro kind of personality. I think his quips at the police station are funny.
Now here's a weird fucking door.
I also thought his Carlos's World bit was nice, you know, made me chuckle. He helps us fight Nemesis at one point. And at the end, he fucking manhandles Nikolai like a champ. What a legend. A couple more characters from the remake I want to point out are Kendo the gun owner. He's neat. But I'll talk more about him when I get to the RE2. I will talk more about Tyrell, who wasn't in the original, but he's new here. He's Carlos's soldier buddy. And you know, they have a great vibe.
Oh yeah, the kid still got it.
Let that be a lesson to all dartboards.
He helps Jill by somewhat delaying the missile launch at the end, if they get a vaccine. He's ultimately killed by Nemesis. Tyrell! They killed Brad! There's also this doctor character who has 2 scenes, and during the first, he says this.
I am the only one who knows how to make the vaccine to stop the zombies. So you can either sit there with your dick in your hand or send somebody who's capable of getting me the hell out of here.
What a great way to introduce someone. In the other scene he's in, he's actually written like a human being and convinces Carlos that Umbrella isn't all that it's cracked up to be.
And I hope and pray by making this recording and bringing the truth to light that I can restore some small shred of honor to my name.
I got Jill knew all along. And she trusted me anyway. Fuck!
If we're going to talk about the monsters, we might as well start off with the zombies, aka the flesh-eating undead. In the original, the zombies are, you know, they're all gray-skinned. They could be either men or women, depending on the outfits they're wearing. There are also the Cerebrus, or zombie dogs, but I'm going to go on a limb and say Cerebrus. In the remake, like RE2, we get white zombies, black zombies, Asian zombies, skinny zombies, fat zombies, guy zombies, girl zombies, the list goes on. There's also the Cerebri, zombie dogs. The Drain Daimos are big, green tick-like monsters that will kill you. In the original, they just drain your blood and spit acid in your direction. They are found in this one alleyway and in the power station. In the remake, they go full alien on you, as they will hold you down and infect you with offspring. Down your throat, also like Alien. But unlike Alien, there is a way to get the parasite out that doesn't involve, a C-section surgery. Also, they are only seen in the power area, as they've turned it into a big nest. The hunters are one of the more iconic RE monsters, and the hunter bees are no different from the originals. They are big lizard-like creatures with sharp claws and crocodilian skin, as well as a bunch of fleshy bits poking out. They hunt Carlos in the hospital while he's looking for a cure for Jill's Nemesis AIDS. Same thing goes for the remake, as they hunt down Carlos while finding Jane's cure. They are less fleshy unless, you shoot them, and they have predator-like mandibles. The hunter Ys are pretty much the same, but they aren't as disfigured and resemble frogs more than they do basic lizards. They appear in the basement of the hospital while Carlos is able to synthesize, well, what else? They look and act the same as hunter bees, except for the frog thing I talked about earlier. In the remake, what? They are big tadpoles with sharp, jagged teeth, with spines running down their backs. They also have arms and legs of birds, almost like chickens. Now, I don't mind the redesign, but I think the chicken arms are too goofy. They only appear in the sewers and will crawl out of various pipes to hunt Jane. If they get too close, they will open their mouths and 4 fleshy mandibles will pop out, which is a neat little callback to a monster from the original. When I saw these things, they didn't just slide out of the pipes. They just stepped out from the darkness, and that made me jump. I was like, whoa, what the hell is that? Those are all the monsters that were in both games, and each version has their own, creatures as well. I guess we could start with the original. After leaving the parking garage, crows will crash through the bus windows, swarm the area. Apparently, drained dymos lay eggs that hatch into baby fleas, but I've never seen them in my game, and I can't seem to find them anywhere else. I'm not gonna bother looking. Brain suckers are the same as the dymos, but I couldn't tell you the difference if I tried, man. It's too hard. Giant enemy spider. Worms writhe around the park, sucking blood from whatever gets in their way, turning more and more red as they do. The Gravedigger, aside from sharing the name with a badass-looking monster truck, is a massive version of the worms, and it almost looks like a tremor. And an uncircumcised dick at times. It acts as a boss in the game, with us escaping it during the first encounter in a sewer, and killing it in its second encounter at the pack. There's also a dead, mutated Mixer X in the final arena. Although the remake doesn't have these guys, it has its own monsters. After getting the subway working again, zombies will start to appear, but with Plagas-like mutations on their heads. It's got 6 pointed legs, an orange mouth, and a tentacle. It is later revealed that Nemesis is the reason that the parasites exist. Now, I'm not opposed to the idea of Nemesis spewing out parasites. I just wish they did something with it, as they act like normal zombies for the most part. The Licker from RE2 makes a return to the police station, attacking some officers, leaving them for RE2. I'll get more into them when I eventually talk about RE2. When in the lab at the end of the game, we encounter these mutated zombies, known as Paleheads, and they are very tough to kill. I wish they did more with these as well. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the part where I shit on Remake Nemesis like hundreds of videos that were made on the subject, right? Well, Nemesis is clearly shown to be the antagonist of the story. Hell, he's on the box art for Christ's sake. Its role in both games is to hunt down STARS members and kill them. The best place to start is with the original. The first time we hear about Nemesis is through Brad, knowing for certain he's gonna die. He's under the impression that there is no escaping. There's no place to hide, warning us, or Jill, of the danger. When we meet up with him at the police station,
We've gotta...
man, the A-cabbers will love this guy. This moment makes you realize that this isn't some average Joe of a monster. This thing is for real. It killed the only STARS member in town, and now it's got its eye on you, the nicest STARS member in town. From this point on, it'll chase you around the city, either barehanded or with a rocket launcher, which he uses to shoot down the evac chopper at the clock tower. Another thing that makes this monster impressive is the fact that it can go between areas to chase you. I know that's not a big deal now because of what we can do with games and shit, but before RE3N, the technology just wasn't there yet, so the monsters including Mr. X and RE2 wouldn't move through the doors. This probably made many people freak out back in the day. After our first boss fight with Nemesis at the clock tower, which is super difficult, like Jesus, it wanders off, injured. When Carlos comes back from the hospital, Nemesis comes back, but it has started to mutate, with tentacles sprouting out of its body. An important thing to note is that he still has his humanoid figure. When we fight it in the factory as Jill, we aren't fighting it how we normally would, as it will avoid our attacks if we do. Instead, we have to shoot these valves to damage it with poison. I think this is a neat idea, as it differs from most bosses in RE, which is to just, shoot it until it dies. Eventually, it'll fall into a pit of poison, or acid, and die. When we leave the factory, it comes back one last time, but it doesn't even resemble a person anymore, or anything like it. The acid from earlier deformed it to the point where it's on its last legs. With the lightning rail cannon, we're able to put this thing out of its misery, somewhat. Depending on your choices, Jill kills the monster and says the one line. Stars. Nemesis is an iconic monster, we all know that. But was it adapted just as well? No. Was it used properly? Not really. In the remake, we got a tease during the opening cutscene of the scientists bringing the Nemesis to life. It's a neat little peek for what's to come. The suspense doesn't really last long though. I also like the idea of Nemesis catching Jill off guard in her apartment. What I don't like, looking back, is how slow it is. How slow it feels. This doesn't feel like a weapon chasing us, let alone a monster. Also, the moment is somewhat ruined when you find out that it doesn't chase you down the hallway, it only reappears during a cutscene, and Jill manages to slow it down with a bookshelf. I guess it likes designer bookshelves. I totally stole that joke. Also, Nemesis is very slow throughout the game when it comes to killing Jill. I had the same issue when it came to Stranger Things, as the monster stalled for time before the kids fought it back. If I remember correctly, Nemesis is supposed to be a stronger and faster version of Mr. X, an already intimidating threat, but this isn't convincing me that he is. Also, it looks like he's covered in a hefty, strong, large, 30-gallon, 74-count trash bag instead of, the trench coat that he wore. I don't mind the biomechanical heart though. Another thing, Nemesis has a habit of grabbing Jane by the head and fucking throwing her. You know what he can do with a fucking palm on her head? This happens not once, not twice, 4 times. Yeah, so far Nemesis sucks at his job. He sucks so much that he has concrete fall in front of him, and that's too much for him to handle. Remember when Brad referred to Nemesis, saying he's got a hard-on for STARS members? What if in The Terminator, Kyle Reese told Sarah that Arnold's, horned up for Sarah? Doesn't make sense, does it? The T-800 goes after Sarah because she's going to give birth to her son, which is going to lead the resistance against Skynet. And Nemesis is made to kill STARS members because they know what they're trying to do. Not only that, Brad is bitten by a zombie and dies that way. No Nemesis encounter, just a plain-ass zombie. Nemesis is a slacker, for Christ's sake. Jill makes her way to the top of the parking garage to escape on a chopper, but like the original, it blows up. It passes by Jill, it crashes and the shockwave of the explosion sends her back and hitting the car behind her. She gets up to leave and sees Nemesis appear from the dark. Jill gets into the car and after an RE6 style quicktime event, hits Nemesis with the car. It grabs her by the throat and for some reason doesn't snap her neck like a twig, and she drives the car off the parking garage. Let's just stop and analyze what just happened there. She exits here, runs towards the chopper here. It blows up, it falls to her right. She turns to look at it, it explodes and sends her flying back, which was originally to her left, hitting the car behind her. The elevator is no longer behind her, as it's to her right now, but she gets up and runs in front of the car, and she sees Nemesis walk out of the dark towards her. So not only did Nemesis not blow up the helicopter, but if we look back, it looks like it blew up by itself. So anyways, the car falls and blows up, taking off the hefty bag on its head. And he has a nose. Carlos yells at Nemesis and fires a rocket at it. He calls him fuckface. Nemesis catches the first one, but goes down after getting hit by another. This guy's ass at its own game. The next time we see it is when we get the power back on, and the gameplay with it starts there. Firstly, it feels like it's a bit too slow when chasing after you. Sure, it runs, and it jumps across the area trying to reach you, but it doesn't feel the same way it did when Mr. X chased you around. In RE2 Remake, you can hear the footsteps of Mr. X no matter where you were in the police station. But here, I don't know, he just runs up to you and performs WWE style moves and uses his tentacle to drag you around. Also, the parasites, like I said before, I think they're neat, but they don't do anything. One major issue I have with Nemesis in the remake is this. He goes down with one grenade. An explosion is whatever, it happens in the original, but a grenade? Are you for real? I didn't know this until I watched a video after I played the game. Hell, when I replayed the original to get footage, I shot a round or two from the grenade launcher, and it didn't do jack shit. After we leave the sewers, it grabs us by the head again, throws us again, and slowly points the nozzle of its flamethrower at us. It slowly chases us up the building. Like, look at this shit. This is supposed to be a fucking weapon! After that, and reading a note at the worst possible time, we get to our first boss fight with Nemesis, which, to be honest, it could have been worse. It'll dodge the rounds from the grenade launcher that we shoot at it, and rain hellfire, which looks dope, if I'm being honest. Also, I don't think shocking it would work as well as it does here, but I'm not the expert. After blowing up his fuel tank, it has this little charge attack that it will do, and it will swing at you with the nozzle. If you get grabbed, it'll just throw you again, leaving you with a few burns. After putting up a fight, it goes down. Not long after, it finally pulls out the rocket launcher. This is the only time in the game in which this happens. After this, well, you'll see. Carlos lures it to the gas. Wait, is that a gas station? Then after that, Nemesis jumps into the subway train. Wait, how? At least with the tram car in the original, it was above ground and Nemesis was able to catch up to it. But here, the train is underground. Is Nemesis using hacks? Because if he is, he still sucks at the game because Mikhail blows him up like mentioned before. How can you get hacks and still be bad at your own game, dude? Like, come on, get good. When Jane reaches the chop, Nemesis jumps out in flames, which hasn't been an issue before, so why is it now? That isn't even the best part. Like, look what happens after. I shit you not, this is Phase 2 Nemesis Remake Edition 4K Ultra HD. What is going on here? They turned my boy into an alien. Nah, he's the alien queen. Almost like a knockoff. This isn't even Nemesis anymore, this is Enemy. Hashtag not my Nemesis. This is the second boss encounter with it in the game, and it's a bit frustrating. Same as always, shoot it until it dies, but I couldn't figure that out when I first played it because this thing would start running around the arena like he had a ball in its mouth. I didn't find out until after a while that you're supposed to use the mine rounds you got earlier to knock him off the walls and deal damage to it. Shut up! Nemesis infects Jane with chlamydia and leaves for an hour. Nikolai shows up and Nemesis, for some reason, doesn't kill him here. Didn't stop him in the original, but here, nah, he's chill. They're bros after all. Later in the game, near the end, Nemesis shows up, again, killing Tyrell. After she makes the vaccine, it kidnaps her, she escapes it chases her, yada yada yada. Third boss fight, same as before, but this time with Carlos on our side. Nimrod will run around again, but will hide behind one of the tanks, and Carlos will yell which one. And you gotta shoot the big red buttons onto the tank, which causes it to get shocked, and it'll fall to the ground. You have to shoot it. Zombies will also drop into the arena, but they're nothing more than fodder. After a while, Carlos will come in and hit the tanks, drenching the Nemesis with acid. Rinse and repeat until the end. Also, if you die, you gotta start from the beginning of the fight again. No matter where you were, Nematode then melts and he comes back for Phase 3. Firstly, he shouldn't even resemble Nemesis anymore, as the acid fucked it all up. Also, if the Xenomorph Queen comparisons didn't fit before, it should still fit. Secondly, Jill is reacting way too calmly for seeing a man-made horror beyond her fucking comprehension. Oh, for the love of God, shut up! Just like in the original, Nermal dies from the rail cannon, now renamed FINGER! Jill says the funny one-liner and then it dies. Nemesis got its balls cut off in the remake. He had a lot of potential to be this opposing figure in modern gaming, but he's cooked. Got cooked. He says stars and everything, but he's done. He's well done. He's burned. You burned him! These next two sections are going to be a bit shorter, since I don't have all summer to make this. The city in the original feels slightly bigger compared to the remake. Don't get me wrong, we can still visit places like the toy store, pharmacy. Well, the gas station is gone aside from the cutscene. We can't even explore it. Speaking of, we can't even explore the clock tower. It's just a part of the border for an area that we fight Nemesis in, an arena. We visit the police station as Carlos instead of Jill, and Nemesis doesn't even show up there. The hospital doesn't explode like in the original. The park is gone. The factory's been replaced with another nest area, simply just called Nest 2. The sewer segment is extended in the remake, which is fine. I'm not gonna pick apart everything. If we did, I'm gonna be here forever. So, yeah. This is gonna be the segment that, you know, it's just me talking about other stuff that I want to mention. The soundtracks are good. I like the frantic nature of the piece that plays when Nemesis appears in the original, ensuring a sense of panic almost. I like the piece that plays during the main menu of the remake. You can really feel a sense of dread just oozing out of this. There are also 2 tracks that call back to the original: City of Ruin and Free from Fear. Another thing I wanted to call out is the visual style of both games. Obviously one game's gonna look better than the other, but I want to bring this up anyway. It's impressive what they did with the original in terms of, like, you know, the 3D backgrounds being like just an image, and then putting the models of the characters running around in place. I think that's cool, especially for back in the day. But what I want to do is, real quick, is talk about RE2 and RE3 remakes. When we explore the city in RE2, it's very dull, almost like it's dead. I mean, that's the point. We even get to revisit this area in RE3, and the difference is night and day. The area we explore in 3 looks almost like if it was crawling with life. I mean, it is, but it's not the kind you want to see. I don't know, I just feel like it just stands out more, like the color and stuff. I don't know. There are epilogues that go in depth about where each major character is after Raccoon City. I haven't gotten all of them, and you could probably find some online somewhere. I could try to find a few online and like put them up for you just so you can see what I'm talking about. Speaking of, kinda, the opening for the remake is great. We barely get to see the civilian side of the story when it comes to the outbreak, but you know, it's refreshing. We are able to catch a glimpse of the chaos in the streets, as well as the Umbrella scientists bringing the Nemesis to life. It's pretty good stuff. You know the choice stuff that I mentioned before, the telltale choosing? That's gone in the remake. At the end of Resident Evil 3, you know, normally a missile comes and just blows up Raccoon City. In the original, you're given a thing that like helps detect the missile where it is. From what I assume, if it reaches 0, then, you know, you're dead. It puts pressure on you, making you want to do things, you know, faster, even though you want to explore everything, get everything, but you can't because the missile's gonna come and it's gonna break everything, it's gonna wreck everything. In the remake, what missile? You mean the missile that never comes during the middle of the game and only at the end? They're just like, hey, look at this thing that's happening. Oh yeah, the city's gonna blow up. Yeah, I just want to point that out there. One more thing I want to bring up before wrapping this up. In the original, there's an extra game mode you can play simply titled The Mercenaries, Operation Mad Jackal. The goal of the game is to reach the goal, where else, before time runs out. Killing the monsters in the area adds more time, delaying your demise. You could be either one of the mercenaries seen in the main game, whether that be Carlos, Nikolai, or Mikhail. As you can see, I chose Carlos. Nemesis shows up to rock your shit at one point. If you die or beat the level, you get money and you can spend it on weapons to use in the game. In the remake, mercenaries are gone, doesn't exist. Instead, there are challenges you can complete within the game to earn points, and those points unlock other shit, including a costume for Jill and a rocket launcher. These challenges also allow you to unlock models and concept art, but yeah, that's all really. Even though the answer's obvious, you're probably thinking, what's the verdict, man? Now obviously the original is better when it comes to which one is more worth your time, but there are things to enjoy about both versions. Doesn't matter what it is. In all honesty, play the original. Only play the remake if you feel like it. If you do feel like it, wait for it to go on sale. That way you get more bang for your buck. That being said, if you enjoyed this,
hit both the red button and that stupid bell to stay notified for more internet content.
Thank you for watching, and I'll be back at some point. Peace.
Sit there with your dick in your hand.